Welcome back. We're all about giving you more for less on today's show. I think we're all trying to save a buck or two. And Marty is here. She is a mom, and she does some personal chefing and all sorts of wonderful things. She's a great cook, is what she is, and all about saving your pennies too. I think we all are.
You betcha. Yes.
So, and time. So this is a fun one. We're going to show you what you can do with a rotisserie chicken that you pick up at the grocery store, and how you can turn it into a few different recipes. And that's kind of my go-to. I love. You know, I feel good about picking up a rotisserie chicken on the way home from work, but I don't feel so good about hitting a drive-through restaurant. You know, I mean, this I feel it's fresher. Yeah, I didn't do it, but I can still make it mine.
You can make it yours, and you can make anything into that. You can make fajitas, you can make tacos, you can make chicken sandwiches. We're making some chicken soup today, and then the broth that we're gonna have is we can freeze that and use it for future reference, you know, like for a crock pot, maybe a turkey breast or something like that. So we're gonna do a couple of different things with them, and we're using rotisserie chickens because they're easy to do. And working moms, we run a little late some days,
Yes.
so we, you know, we gotta do what we can do.
Absolutely, and I usually can get 2 meals out of one rotisserie chicken. These are about $6-7 at the most, and you know, getting 2 meals out of it, that's cheap. So
Yeah, it is
okay,
actually.
so let's start with the chicken soup recipe.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take little old Mr. Chicken here.
Okay.
And I leave this all tied, okay? I left him overnight so that I can get any fat that was on him off.
Okay.
And in the pot he goes.
Okay. So this is if you happen to be grocery shopping and you want to pick up a rotisserie chicken for a later time, but can you also just pick it up right at the grocery store and make it right from there?
Absolutely.
Okay, but that was a nice idea because the fat was right on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Is that for your hands?
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
And I use chicken stock.
Okay.
But I also add my own seasonings into this. So we're not just going to do. We have to have your own flavor.
I agree, and I think that's a good tip is to, instead of just water, if you're going to do some water, add some chicken stock or some sort of chicken soup base to get more flavor in your stock.
So I throw some bay leaves in.
Okay.
I love bay leaves. This is a chicken rub that I use, and so I pour a little of this in on top of my chicken.
Just to give it some more flavor.
Yeah, I like the flavor of this. It gives the broth some flavor.
That smells good.
And then I use a little white pepper.
Okay.
Not too much, and I don't tell the kids I do this.
Okay, I got it.
They get a little upset there.
You know, it's funny. I love pepper. I can't get enough of it, but my kids they don't like it when I put too much black pepper. So this is a way to get that flavor in there. That's a good tip.
And then you can take an onion, which I left over there.
That's okay.
And
we'll get it. We'll take it. We'll get it.
Okay. And we're going to cut the onion up and we're going to put it in the pot with the chicken.
Okay. And I'll let you cut it. Do you just kind of cut it in big wedges, or?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep, that's all you need. And if I'm not mistaken, your knives are still in the same place.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to cut the ends off. So you know, you always got to take this little outer layer off.
Yes.
There's no reason for it.
Nope.
I'm not sure why they put that on there. Just
comes that way, just to bug us.
irritate us. Yep,
yes,
that's it.
Exactly.
Normally I have a garbage bowl out here, so
That's okay.
I apologize.
No worries.
So today we're going to use just half of it, and all we're going to do is chop it up. You're not going to do it real finely. If you want to add some into your soup later, then we still have half a chicken. I mean, half an onion.
Okay.
Yep.
So go ahead and keep it chunky. Make it easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it gives it a nice flavor. And that's all we do. Now we're going to let that sit and we're going to let it simmer.
For about how long?
You know, sometimes I let mine simmer for about 3 hours.
Okay.
Because I really want that broth. I want the flavor in the broth. So the more you let it simmer, the better it gets.
Right.
And the chicken will come out tasting a little different. Then we're going to throw in our carrots. We're going to make some bow tie pasta to do this.
Okay. So toward the end of the cooking, that's when you'd add in some sliced carrots. You cheated, and I'm totally with I'm totally with you. But the pre-slice, slicing carrots is not fun.
Well, and the kids like these the little ridges.
Yeah, they do. They're cute.
It's about fun.
I agree. So that's what you're going to add in like the last half hour of cooking.
That is.
And then you shred this up a little bit. Is that what you do?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we've got some over here.
We do, and the pot that I use to do this in is kind of a nice pot.
Oh, this smells. And I don't know if you can see how like rich that stock is. It's like crazy. I mean, it's just a, wow.
It is really
yeah.
good.
And that seasoning used
Now, the
smells
only
amazing.
thing we have to do, excuse me for walking away, is we're going to have to take it to the sink.
Okay. The whole thing?
The whole sink.
Okay, all right.
The whole thing. And the reason we're going to do this is because this pan, you just take the top off.
Okay.
And all the broth stays in the bottom. So now you've got your broth for your soup.
And boy,
And all
does
we
it
would
look
have
rich
to do
and
is,
wonderful.
right, and all you'd have to do is thicken that up. And then I stick that in the sink.
This is when you add your bow tie pasta
Yep, I add my bow tie pasta, I add my
and your
carrots.
Okay. So here's when you add the carrots, okay? And a whole box.
Now, if you don't want to use all your broth, this is the time that you want to get out a container, and you might want to split it out
Okay.
and not make the whole thing
Okay.
into soup.
But you know what? I like having a big batch of soup around. And, you know, I just think that we eat it all week long, and that's another way to save money is, you know, if you've got soup, I can pack it in my husband's, you know, Tupperware containers for him to take to lunch.
Yep.
I eat it all week long for
And
lunch, we have it for dinner.
what's nice is if, you know, your kids aren't feeling good, you have this in your freezer already, just
Yep.
freeze them in little and then warm it up.
Yep.
It's so much better
Yep.
than giving them that just
I
plain old
agree.
chicken.
And this, you can tell
So
this
then-
chicken gets tender as all get out. So this is
Yes.
when we kind of, if it's not too hot, let me give you a couple forks. You just kind of pull it apart. Is that
you
what
do,
you do?
just pull it apart. And actually, that's all you have to do.
Wow, look at that. Maybe let it cool just a little bit at home, but
Yeah.
this looks fantastic. My kids would be all over this. And then if you've got some of this extra chicken, you could certainly put it into, you know, wraps or make a chicken salad with it. There's tons of different things
Well,
that
and
you can
I'm
do with it.
big into wraps. This is, you know, we're getting into workout season now. Believe it or not, it will get warm, I'm sure.
I hope so. Wow, this looks amazing. And then we've got the pasta in there. Do we throw we throw the noodles in there? So good. Let me get a bowl. Now, Marty, what are we making next time?
Out of all of this, we are going to, you can make this into a wrap or a fajita, whatever we want to make into it.
But we're doing a chicken parmesan, I understand?
We're going to do a chicken parmesan on top of fettuccine noodles.
Ooh.
And then we're going to take the leftovers of that and make it into a Caesar salad for the next
I
day.
love it. Planned overs is what I call them,
Planned.
not leftovers.
Okay.
This soup looks...
We call them muscos.
Oh.
Must go out of the refrigerator.
I love it. All
So-
right, sounds good. We'll put the recipe for this chicken soup on our website. Coming up, we're going to show you how to do beef tenderloin on a budget. And if you're bored, this is that kind of time of year where if you can't get away, you got to get out of the house and do something. We're going to tell you all about the latest production that is happening downtown Green Bay. Let me be frank. If you want to get a good laugh and a good night out, we'll fill you in on their latest show. So stay with us. We'll be back.